Good evening. It is January 10th, and tonight we're going to be reading from Genesis 23 1 through 24:51, Matthew 8 1 through 17, Proverbs 9 13 through 20, and Psalms 9 13 through 20, Proverbs 2 20 through 22. So let's get started. Genesis 23 1 through 24:51. Sarah lived 127 years. Sarah died in Kirath Arba, present day Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham mourned for Sarah and wept. Then Abraham got up from mourning his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. I know I'm only an outsider here among you, but sell me a burial plot so that I can bury my dead descendant. The Hittites responded, Why? You're no mere outsider here to us. You're a prince of God. Bury your dead wife in the best of our burial sites. None of us will refuse you a place for burial. Then Abraham got up, bowed respect fully to the people of the land and the Hittites, and said, If you're serious about helping me give my wife a proper burial, intercede for me with Ephron, son of Zohar. Ask him to sell me the cave of Machpelah that he owns, the one at the end of his land. Ask him to sell it to me at its full price for the burial plot with you as a witness. Ephron was part of the local Hittite community. Then Ephron and the Hittite spoke up, answering Abraham with all the Hittites who were part of the town council listening. Oh no, my master, I couldn't do that. The field is yours, a gift. I'll give it and the cave to you, with my people as witnesses. I'll give it to you. Bury your deceased wife. Abraham bowed respectfully before the assembled council and answered Ephron, Please allow me. I want to pay the price of the land. Take my money so that I can go ahead and bury my wife. Then Ephron answered Abraham, If you insist, master, what's 400 silver shekels between us? Now go ahead and bury your wife. Abraham accepted Ephron's offer and paid out the sum that Ephron had named before the town council of Hittites, 400 silver shekels at the current exchange rate. That's how Ephron's field next to Mamre, the field, its cave, and all the trees within its borders became Abraham's property. The town council of the Hittites witnessed this transaction. Abraham then proceeded to bury his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of the Machpelah that is next to Mamre, present-day Hebron, in that land of Canaan. The field and its cave went from the Hittites into Abraham's possession as a burial plot. Abraham was now an old man. God had blessed Abraham in every way. Abraham spoke to the senior servant in his house, the one in charge of everything he had. Put your hand under my thigh and swear to God, God of heaven, God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from among the young women of the Canaanites here, but you will go to the land of my birth and get a wife for my son Isaac. The servant answered, But what if the woman refuses to leave home and come with me? Do I then take your son back to your home country? Abraham said, Oh no, never. By no means are you to take my son back there. God, the God of heaven, took me from that home of my father and from that country of my birth and spoke to me in a solemn promise. I'm giving this land to your descendants. This God will send his angel ahead of you to go to get a wife for your son. And if the woman won't come, you are free from this oath you've sworn to me. But under no circumstances are you to take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and gave his solemn oath. The servant then took 10 of his master's camels and loaded them with gifts from his master, traveled from Aram Naharaim, and in the city of Nahor. Outside the city, he made the camels kneel at the well. It was evening, the time when the woman came to draw water. He prayed, O God of my master Abraham, make things go smoothly this day. Treat my master Abraham well, as I stand here by the spring while the young women of the town come to get water. Let the girl to whom I say, lower your jug and give me a drink, and who answers, drink, and let me also water your camels. Let her be the woman you have picked out of your servant for your servant Isaac. Then I'll know that you're working graciously behind the scenes for my master. It so happened that the words were barely out of his mouth when Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, whose mother was Michal, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out from the water jug on her shoulder. The girl was stunningly beautiful, a pure virgin. She went down to the spring, filled her jug, and came back up. The servant ran to meet her and said, please, can I have a sip of water from your jug? She said, certainly, drink. And then she held the jug so that he could drink. When he was satisfied his thirst, I'll get water for your camels too drunk, until they've drunk their fill. She promptly emptied her jug into the trough and ran back to the well to fill it, and she kept it up until she had watered all the camels. The man watched silent. Was this God's answer? Had God made his trip a success or not? When the camels had finished drinking, the man brought out gifts: a gold nose ring, weighted a little over a quarter of an ounce, and two arm bracelets weighing 4 ounces, and gave them to her. He said, tell me about your family. Whose daughter are you? Is there room in your father's house for us to stay tonight? She said, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Malachi and Nahor, and there's plenty of room in our house for you to stay, and lots of straw to feed besides. At this, the man bowed in worship before God and prayed, blessed be God, God of my master Abraham. How generous and true you've been to my master. You've held nothing back. You led me right into the door of my master's brother. And the girl was off and running, telling everyone in his mother and her mother's house what was happening. Rebekah had a brother named Laban. Laban ran outside to the man at the spring, and he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister, and had heard her say, the man said this and this to me. So he went to the man, and there he was, still standing with the camels at the spring. Laban welcomed him. Come on in. Blessed are God. Why are you standing out here? I've got the house ready for you, and there are also a place for your camels. So the man went into the house. The camels were unloaded and given straw and fed. Water was brought to bathe the feet of the man and the men with him. Then Laban brought out food, but the man said, I won't eat until I tell my story. Laban said, go ahead, tell us. The servant said, I am the servant of Abraham. God has blessed my master. He's a great man. God has given him sheep and cattle, silver and gold, servants and maidservants, camels and donkeys. And then to top it off, Sarah, my master's wife, gave him a son at her old age, as he passed everything on to his son. My master made a promise: don't get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live. Now go to my father's home, back to my family, and get a wife for my son there. I said to my master, but what if the woman won't come with me? He said, God, before whom I've walked faithfully, will send his angel with you, and he'll make things work out, so that you'll bring back a wife for my son from my family, from the house of my father. Then you'll be free from the oath. If you go to my family and they won't give her to you, you will also be free from that oath. Well, then I came this very day to the spring. I prayed God, go out of my God of my master Abraham, make things turn out well in this task I've been given. I'm standing at this well when a young woman comes here to draw water, and I say to her, please give me a sip of water for your jug. And she says, not only will I give you a drink, I will also water your camels. Let that woman be your wife. God has picked out for my master's son. I had barely finished offering his prayer when Rebekah arrived, her jug on her shoulders. She went to the spring and drew water, and I said, please, can I have a drink? She didn't hesitate. She held out her jug and said, drink, and when you're finished, I'll water your camels. I drank, and she watered the camels. I asked her whose daughter she was, and she said, the daughter of Bethuel, whose parents were Nahor and Malachi. I gave her a ring for her nose, bracelets for her arms, and bowed in worship to God. I praised God and the God of my father Abraham, who had led me straight to the door of my master's family to get a wife for his son. Now tell me what you're going to do. If you plan to respond with a generous yes, tell me. But if no, not, please plainly tell me. So tell me plainly so I can figure out what to do next. Laban and Bethuel answered, This is undeniably from God. We have to say in this matter either yes or no. Rebecca is yours. Take her and go back. Let her be the wife of your master's son, as God has made plan. As God has made plain, excuse me. So the breakdown of Genesis 23:1 says through 24:51 says, trusting God through loss and legacy. This passage shows us two powerful moments: loss and faith. Abraham mourns Sarah, yet he honors her by securing a payment burial place, showing faith in God's promises even in grief. Then we see Abraham sending his servant to find a wife for Isaac, trusting God to guide every step. The servant prays, God answers specifically. Specifically is the key. And Rebecca appears. The message is this: God is faithful in both our pain and our planning. Even when life, that's deep. Even when life changes, God is still arranging the future. When you walk in obedience and trust, God works behind the scenes to fulfill his promises. Yeah, that really hits a little different tonight. Um, Matthew 8:1 through 17. Jesus came down from the mountain with the cheers of the crowd still ringing in his ears. Then a leper appeared and dropped to his knees before Jesus, praying, Master, if you want, you can heal my body. Jesus reached out and touched him and said, I want to be clean. Then and there, all the signs of leprosy were gone, Jesus said. Don't talk about this all over town. Just quietly present your healed body to the priests, along with appropriate expressions of thanks to God. Your cleansed and grateful life, not your words, will bear witness to what I've done. As Jesus entered the village of Capernaum, a Roman captain came up in panic and said, Master, my servant's sick. He can't walk. He's in terrible pain. Jesus said, I'll come and heal him. Oh, no, said the captain. I don't want you to put you through all that trouble. Just give me an order, and my servant will be fine. I'm a man who takes orders and gives orders. I tell one soldier, go, and he goes. To another, come. And when he comes to my slave, and when he comes to my slave, do this, and he does. Taken back, Jesus said, I've yet to come across this kind of simple trust in Israel. The very people who were supposed to know all about God and how he works, this man is the vanguard of how he works. This man is the vanguard of many outsiders who will soon be coming from all directions, streaming in from the east, pouring in from the west, sitting down at God's kingdom banquet alongside Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then those who grow up in the faith but had no faith will find themselves out in the cold, outsiders to grace and wondering what happened. Then Jesus turned to the captain and said, Go. What you believed could happen has happened. At that moment, his servant became well. By this time, they were in front of Peter's house. On entering, Jesus found Peter's mother in law sick in the bed, burning up with fever. He touched her hand, and the fever was gone. No sooner was she up on her feet, and she was fixing dinner for him. That evening, a lot of demon afflicted people were brought to him. He relieved the inwardly tormented. He cured the body ill. He fulfilled Isaiah's well known revelation. He took your illness, he carried your diseases. So the breakdown of Matthew, recap of Matthew 8, 1 through 17 says, faith that moves Jesus. In this passage, Jesus heals the leper and the centurion's servant and Peter's mother in law. Each healing highlights faith. The leper believes Jesus can heal him. The centurion believes Jesus doesn't even need to show up. His word is enough. That's deep too. And Peter's mother in law is healed immediately and begins to serve. Faith isn't about position or perfection, it's about trust. When we believe in Jesus' authority and bring our needs to Him, He meets us with compassion and power. Needed this one tonight, y'all. I'm just saying. Psalms 9:13 through 20. Be kind to me, God. I've been kicked around long enough. Once you pulled me back from the gates of death, I'll write the book of hallelujahs. On the corner of Main and First, I'll hold a street meeting. I'll be the strong leader. We'll fill the air with salvation songs. They're trapped, they're godless, they're countries. They're trapped, the godless countries, excuse me, in the very snares they set. Their feet all tangled, in the net they spread. They have no excuse. The way of the way God works is well known. The shrewd machinery made by the wicked has maimed their own hands. The wicked bought a one-way ticket to hell. No longer will the poor be nameless. No more humiliation for the humble. Up, God, aren't you fed up with their empty strutting? Expose their grand professions. Expose their grand pretensions. Shake them up, God. Show how silly they look. So the breakdown of Psalms, 9 through 13:20, God defends the humble. David cries out to God from a place of distress, asking him to see his suffering act. He reminds himself that God does not forget the afflicted and that justice ultimately belongs to the Lord. This Psalms teaches us that God sees what others overlook. When people are oppressed, ignored, or mistreated, God is paying attention. He is a defender of the humble and a refuge in times of trouble. Trust him, he will have the final word. Mm. So we got one little section here. It's Proverbs 2:20 through 22. And so join the company of good men and women. Keep your feet on the tired and true paths. It's the men who walk straight who will settle this land, the women with integrity who will last here. The corrupt will lose their lives, the dishonest will be gone for good. The breakdown of Proverbs 2:20 through 22, choosing the path that lasts. This verse reminds us that walking with the righteous leads to security, peace, and longevity. While wickedness leads to removal and loss, your environment and choices shape your future. God honors those who pursue wisdom and integrity. When you walk in God's ways, you're not just avoiding trouble, you're building a life that lasts. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all reading with me, the ones that are. I appreciate you going back and starting, and we're going to finish starting from the beginning, and we are going to read the Bible together. And I've said it several times since I started. I made it to about May of last year, and this is for me. This is the accountability for me to do this every single day to show the accountability that I can get through this and not procrastinate. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And we will definitely see you tomorrow. Have a good day.